When we were looking for a contractor, a number of different things were really important for us. One, we really didn't want to be out of our house for years at a time while a remodel dragged on, right? We were looking for somebody who was going to be able to complete the task that aligned with our vision, but in a way that was done efficiently and within a relatively constrained time period. And I was so impressed by Jacob and his ability to execute in an amount of time that we had agreed upon and able to do so in a way that we were really happy with. I think what was really impressive were Jacob's organizational skills. He insisted that everything was in place before we would get started on a new phase of the construction so that things wouldn't be drawn out into months or even years long process. We were done with 80% of our pretty sizable remodel within 3 months, which was above expectations, certainly on my part. When we eventually decided on We Do Construction, I'll be honest, it wasn't our first phone call. We looked at a couple of other contractors, we started working with a few, and it was clear there wasn't the alignment that we were looking for. And it was a couple of things. One, maybe a propensity to cut corners that we weren't really comfortable with. We weren't in this for a flip. We were in this to create a home we wanted to live in, and we wanted somebody who was going to follow through with the quality that we were looking for. Once we found Jacob, it was clear that he aligned on the values that we were looking for in our home, and somebody who was going to put an emphasis on quality that matched the investment that we were making. It's almost counterintuitive, but it was his no-nonsense nature. He would always be direct with us, speak with the utmost candor, because sometimes in a remodel, you have to make some tough choices. We can do this in the fanciest way, but it's gonna take 6 months. It's gonna cost this much money. Are you willing to do that? Or are you willing to say, here's an 80% solution that will get you most of what you need at a fraction of the cost and still be high quality? It's your choice. He was always good at framing the choices that we had and allowed us to action them and tell us what are the upsides and downsides of both. And I really appreciated that because it never felt sneaky. It never felt disingenuous. It always felt he had our best interests in mind and ensured, though, that we had the agency to choose the direction we wanted to go. Absolutely, it felt like a team. It was almost like he was the captain in some ways, right? That we had ideas, but we needed his guidance to ensure we were doing things the right way. We're amateurs on our side, my wife and I. We had some ideas, what we wanted, but we didn't have the expertise to say, that's a good idea, but this is the downside that you need to consider. And if you're okay with that downside, that's fine. But I just don't want to do this without you understanding the repercussions of doing it this way. And we really appreciated that. I'm happy to discuss the experience we had during the remodel itself. So for a period of time, about 3 months, we moved out, and during that time, we could see progress anytime we'd come visit, because we just moved down the road. We'd visit maybe once a week, and it was always clear that significant progress was being made. When we were here during work hours, there were always a team of individuals working hard, getting things done, moving in the right direction. And one of the things that I was most impressed with Jacob was he gave us a timeline, and he was able to execute on the vast majority of that within that timeline, so that we weren't sitting there having to continue to rent another apartment and pay a mortgage. Nobody wants to do that for an extended period of time. We were able to move back in when he promised we would be able to. Sure, there were some small things that we needed to continue to do after we'd moved in. A lot of that wasn't even Jacob's fault. That was delays in the supply chain, or certain supplies didn't arrive on time. While we were living here, the team was incredibly professional. There were no issues like dust or anything like that. They were quiet, they respected our personal space, and we're generally friendly individuals while we were all spending a lot of time in the same place. Let's be honest, part of the reason you come back to check is to make sure that things are moving in the right direction. And it's no knock on Jacob, it's more when you're making an investment this large, you want to babysit that investment to a certain degree. We absolutely felt a large degree of confidence as we saw continued progress as we visited on a regular cadence. There were never times where we came in and said, this is the same, nothing's gone on. No, it was always consistent progress. And when there were times, say, that they were moving from one part of the house to another, Jacob would keep us informed, say, hey, this piece hasn't arrived yet, or in order to do this part of the house, we need to work on this part first. And so there was always a constant line of communication, so we were never in the dark around why isn't this happening, why is that happening, etc. What would I say to somebody on the fence around choosing Jacob or We Do Construction? It's, do you want to do it right or do you want to do it again? I am somebody who is looking for a project done well and done right and done within the time frame that we're looking for. Jacob offers that. If you want to cut corners, you know, that's not Jacob. He is thorough. That he is no nonsense. He will get it done, it'll get it done right. That's what he brings to the table, and it's one that I can't recommend highly enough. He is a man of his word. He's somebody who really straightforward. He's transparent. He doesn't beat around the bush. You kind of have to meet him to get, he does what he says he's going to do. In terms of one word to describe We Do Construction, is just no nonsense. They tell you what you're going to get and you get what they tell you. And you work together as a team, execute on a vision. I can't tell you how impressed we were. I don't think I saw him take a day off. He, was able to handle multiple projects, but do so in a way where you feel like you're his only project. And I really appreciated that. If you're looking to do a remodel, you gotta go with We Do Construction. What Jacob and team brings is efficiency, transparency, and quality in a market that is often anything but. We were fortunate enough to experience firsthand, we got with Jacob an incredible remodel that was done on time and, most importantly, to our satisfaction. So I can't recommend them enough.